Hey, what's up, guys? So today I got asked, how do you start a contracting business to profit immediately? And I thought that was a really profound question because 96% of contractors fail over a 10-year span. And the reason why they fail is they're just not generating enough profit. And so for those of you who don't know who I am, my name's Lane Boland. I'm the founder of Remodel Commanders and Chief Operating Officer of CQC Home, $15 million remodeler in Raleigh-Durham, the largest design build remodeler in the state of North Carolina. The reason why I make these videos is because most contractors go broke, and I don't want you to be one of them. I wanted to give you guys a framework for how we think about our own business at CQC that can help you in designing a profitable business where you're at. And I got this model from a guy named Alex Hormozy over in the gym business. It's called the wedding cake model. And so you got two components to a wedding cake. You have icing, which is your front end cash, which for us as remodelers at CQC, we deem cash that we can recognize as gross profit over a 60-day period. And then you got cake. That's the core offer. That's the thing that you're exchanging for money over the life of the contract. And the thing is, cake without icing is just a loaf of bread, right? So we got to have that icing. And the reason why it's called a wedding cake is because we want to stack layers. And so at CQC, we're running a 3-layer cake. Our first layer are home additions. Our second layer are kitchens. And then our third layer are jobs that don't meet our minimum scope, which right now is at about $80,000. For jobs that don't meet our minimum scope, we'll peel off 2% as a sales marketing fee and sub the whole project down to one of our really, really good subs or a referral relationship that services those smaller projects. So let's break that down in terms of cake and icing. At the first level for us, those big jobs, right? Our average addition can run anywhere from 320 grand all the way up to 1.5 million. But the thing is, we constrain our project managers in the field to only 5 active job sites in a day. Why? Because a project manager for us, which you might call a superintendent or a lead carpenter, has to visit every single project every single day to keep it on track and to keep the client happy. Okay, cool. So that being said, the icing on that is the design package, right? So we sell a design package up front. We don't provide hard numbers, right? So we'll give them a ballpark. If they want anything sharper than a ballpark, they got to buy a design package. And what's the product of that design package? It's not only design drawings, but it's construction plans. And the difference between construction plans and construction documents is means and material on the spec sheet, right? So on the spec sheet, we're detailing by assembly, by trade, takeoff, how it's going to be installed, and the quantity, and specifically the material being used. Does that make sense? And so it's super detailed. And only with that document will we provide them 100% accurate numbers in the form of a firm fixed price. So how do we turn a profit off that on the front end in the first 60 days? Well, from the moment we generate a lead, we found it takes 60 days to sell a design agreement. And that design agreement is due in full up front. So on that $500,000 addition, that's a 50 grand pop, boom, because we charge 10% of the high end of the ballpark. And then we bill against that at a rate of about $150 an hour, much like a lawyer's retainer. And if there's any overage, that gets credited to their build contract, but only if they select us as the contractor to actually build the damn thing. But anyway, so let's talk icing. So we're collecting 10% of the ballpark of the project in the first 60 days. And what does that cost us? Well, our designers fully burdened cost us 51 bucks an hour, but we're billing against that retainer at 150. So it's a 3x markup, right? So 2/3 of that fee is counted as gross profit, right? So let's use a $100,000 kitchen, 10 grand design fee. Well, we know $6,500 of that is gross profit, right? Which then allows us to go and invest in advertising to go get more contracts, which for us, our customer acquisition cost is about $1,500. So for every job that we sell, when we collect that design fee, it's like that design agreement can pay for us to go capture 4 more, which is amazing. That's how you grow at scale. And then imagine, referrals on the top of that for doing a good job. It gets really juicy really quickly. But anyway, talking icing, right? So the icing, 10% of the build contract. And then the cake. Well, that same, $100,000 kitchen was sold anywhere from a 35% to 45% gross margin. So the cake is another 35 to 45 grand on that 100K kitchen in gross profit over the life of 10 weeks, right? Because our production conversion rate is $10,000 a week is usually what we can build per project. So, think about that again. It's like we got this, on the icing side, we picked up a $6,600 hit, boom, like crazy. I mean, just right then and there. And then on that 100K kitchen. And then over the next 10 weeks, we're collecting another 35,000 in gross profit minimum, which comes out to about 3,500 a week. So the icing, it's got twice as much cheddar as the cake. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, shit, Lane, why don't I just get in the design business? Hey there, if you're getting value from these videos, could I ask you to click the like button and smash, just subscribe to the channel. I'm like, well, interesting you say that. You can't live off just icing alone. You go into a diabetic coma if all you were eating was wedding cake icing. And the same for your business, right? If you're just one product, if you're trying to build this wedding cake out of just icing, it's going to just turn into a blob of shit because of heat. And where does that heat come from? Market pressures of competitors, market pressures of the economy, right? We need to build something sturdy that can withstand the heat of the room, the room being your market. Does that kind of make sense? So that's why we need the cake. We can't have just icing, but that's our first layer. So our first layer is additions. Our second layer is kitchens, same model, icing, design package sold up front, cake, the build contract, which it's slower money, but it's steady money. That steady money of cake in your backlog, both what's in build and what's going into build, is what allows you to weather the storm of recessions by having enough gross profit in your backlog to represent an entire year's overhead at any given time. That's why we want cake. But then our third layer, right? So you're probably thinking, well, Lane, you just strip 2% off the top and send the job out. I'm like, yeah, that's icing on our top layer for projects that don't meet our minimum standard. For the cake comes in the form of our 5-year bumper warranty, to use a car analogy, on what we build, labor and materials, which you're probably thinking, Lane, that's fucking crazy. Let me explain what happens. So we know we're going to spend about 1% of the job contract in servicing the warranty over the life of that 5 years. So that gets baked in to the cake at, no pun intended, or pun intended, in the lower layer, right? So that $100,000 kitchen, we pack in $1,000 of labor to cover 5 years of warranty and materials. Cool. Why do we do that? Well, that gives us a reason every 6 months to go back to the home and service our warranty and cross-sell more work, right? So essentially what happens is the very top layer is charging the company for 1% of the bottom layer project, right? And that revenue then sits into another account, which is also sold at a 40% gross margin. So even though we're charging ourselves 1%, it really costs only about 0.6% of that contract to service the warranty. But that way we make the warranty a profit center as well. It sounds like an accounting trick. It is, just bear with me. So just understand that that's the cake at our top layer, and the icing is whatever we uncover when we're in the home servicing our warranty. And it's like, hey, Bob, your siding's all jacked up. Hey, Susan, you just got hit with a really nasty storm. Maybe we should take a look at that roof. Do we do roofing? No. Do we do siding? No. But we have relationships that do. We just pull 2% off the top and sub the job down. And you're probably thinking, oh, but Lane, risk. Here's why that isn't risky. So by having the contract run through us and doing a proper subcontract, yes, that same salesman who is responsible for that customer relationship then acts as an owner's rep, visiting the job site once a day. It just adds another hour and a half. Just let's use a roof, for example. A $10,000 roof that the roofers get done in 3 days, that's 3 hours of project visit time. Your sales guy's on target earnings is probably $80K a year, which puts his hourly rate to cost to us at $40. $40 times 3 is $120. We pulled $200 off that $10,000 roof. So we spent $120 in project management to recover $200 in a sales and marketing referral. I mean, that's good business. You're still ripping a 40% margin covering your ass in enforcing the contract. That's why this works. So again, think of your business as a wedding cake, right? No more than 3 layers. Base layer, that's the biggest single service you can do. Second layer, your second most prolific, largest service you can do. Third layer, that's all the other, little shit that you do that ideally you sub down. You sub out, you refer out, you pull a fee. But again, think of it as a 3-layer cake. Keep yourself very very tightly defined. So we're a $15 million company that's known for two things. We do really good jobs on additions and we do amazing kitchens. And we built a $15 million company off just that. So food for thought, guys, start thinking of your business as a wedding cake where the icing is the gross profit you can collect in the first 60 days. Typically that's a design agreement. Your cake is the actual contract itself that you're building, which comes slow. And ideally you want your backlog to have enough gross profit in it to cover an entire year's overhead. That way you can weather anything the economy or your competitors throw at you and adapt, improvise, and overcome. So guys, food for thought. Let me know what you think in the comments and y'all take it easy. Adios.
Inside the notes, you'll find a link to our free exclusive group for Remodel business owners where we post daily tactical training to improve your bottom line. So go check it out.